Hello, my friends. You might be getting ready for the PMP exam. I've got a solution to help you to really master content in what we call the 5 process groups of initiating, planning, executing, monitoring, and controlling and closing, and also these 10 knowledge areas. Project management in the PMP exam world is not as hard as it used to be. It used to be very laborious. But the PMI has cut out a lot of what was on the exam before. What you do need, instead of that infamous table on page 25, is my cheat sheet. Because my cheat sheet breaks down project management into tinier to understand pieces. Basically, simplified project management language so that it sounds like everyday English. So I want you to journey with me as I explain to you a project I worked on. This project was an implementation, and it started off with this. The project had to be authorized, right? And I, the project manager, had to be given the authority to apply resources to the project. Now, one of the things my boss said is, just because you're the project manager, be careful. You can't talk to anyone anyhow. He probably knew I had an opinion about everything, so he warned me. And that takes us to this. You see what it says here? Identifying project influencers and users. In other words, stakeholders. So that's the next thing you do as a project manager. Your exam is going to test your understanding of project chartering, that one, and identifying stakeholders, understanding who your project could affect and who could be affected by the project. When you've got all of that down, you go into this. One, you develop a plan for the entire project, but it's not a plan that's developed overnight. This plan is going to evolve gradually. It could start off with a tiny little bit of scope, understanding, then some schedule milestones, then you begin fleshing out a little bit of the budget, and then you go back, putting some more understanding on the scope and the schedule and the cost, and then you begin talking about quality, which could impact cost, and then you begin talking about resources that could impact cost. And where you introduce people, quality, resources, human equipment, material, supplies, facilities, you are introducing the element of risk. You're also introducing feedback loops in communication. You're also introducing the topic of procurements. So when we take a look at integration, scope, schedule, cost, quality, resources, communication, risk, procurement, and stakeholder, you got to remember the chipmunk mnemonic. It's a simple mnemonic. I saw 6 chipmunks quietly roasting coffee, reading poetry stories. It's a fun little mnemonic. Now there's another mnemonic that goes like this. I saw 6 Cubans quietly rolling cigars, really puffing smoke. Now, I taught that to a healthcare company. They didn't like it. They didn't call me back. I've not been back to that company since. I don't think they liked my little mnemonic about the Cubans. But jokes apart, once you understand the knowledge areas at a high level, you are on your way to success on the exam, because the exam is more about understanding the language. You see, the language, still talking about language. This scenario that I broke down, right? This is really about the language. I'm not really about you cramming this thing. It's about the language. Now, if you haven't already taken a look at the website where you can download this free cheat sheet, I want you to take note of it, because it's out there, right there at the link, Phil's cheat sheet, okay? You can go down to the website, just as I'm about to, just simple as this, and just click on it. It's right there. The PDF version is there. And all this stuff that you're seeing behind me, you can read it up close and personal. So developing a plan for the entire project. And for every knowledge area, we have a statement, like planning how to manage scope, collecting requirements. And each of these replaces the laborious page 25 process group names, process names, I beg your pardon, and all the minutia. All you need is this to interpret, what do you mean by plan scope management? Well, plan scope management really means, are you ready? It means planning how to manage scope. Collect requirements means collecting requirements from stakeholders. Define scope means identifying all that needs to be done to meet requirements. That's defining the scope. Define the scope of work to be done to meet the requirements. Create a visual hierarchy of work is create WBS. Planning how to develop the schedule is plan schedule management. Create a list of tasks, define activities, arrange tasks in order, sequence activities, decide how long each task will take, estimate activity durations, create the schedule. That's develop schedule. And we keep moving down. Plan how to manage project cost, estimate each task cost, add up all task costs to a total budget. That's determine budget. Plan how to manage quality of the project and deliverables. That's plan quality management. Plan how to acquire and manage resources, plan resource management. Decide on resource quantity and type. That is estimate activity resources. Plan what to communicate, why and when. That's plan communications management, and so on and so forth. I could read the whole thing to you, but you can do it yourself. Just download the cheat sheet, open up page 25 in the 6th edition, compare the process name, right? Just trace the box. We got scope, go to the box that maps to planning for scope, and you'll see what each of those things is. It's that simple. This is a free cheat sheet. So there's no point complicating this thing. Don't complicate it. Keep it as simple as possible. When you understand the English and what the project manager does in planning, what the project manager does in executing the plan, and what the project manager does in monitoring and controlling, and in closing, right? In closing. When you understand all that stuff, the picture becomes easier. You understand the English. You understand what the project manager is responsible, accountable for. That's what you need for your exam. People spending too much time going through every page in predictive. I love predictive stuff, but if your company is not using it as it should be, there's opportunities there, right? But reading it ad nauseum begins to show the law of diminishing returns. You're putting all this energy, putting all this work, ain't nobody using it in your firm. It's not on the exam. You got to be smarter. You got to understand a better world order of Agile. And it's come to stay. PMI invested in buying an Agile company and more Agile certifications is because they know what value it brings to companies. It's that simple. So while I want you to read all this stuff, I also want you to remember the Agile stuff as well, but that will be for another day. For now, I'm hoping this cheat sheet shortens your prep. Someone says, Phil, but what should I do? Google PMP exam 1-minute summary or Praizion 1-minute summaries. Look for my 1-minute summary videos, watch them, go through this cheat sheet. You can see we almost went halfway in less than 10 minutes. Just understand the English. Don't even cram or memorize. Just, for example, read. What does it say up there, right? Planning how to manage scope. What does it say over there? Direct and manage the project work. All right, I see. Just reminders of the responsibilities of the project manager. Okay. When you get to that level of understanding, you are on your way to acing the exam, because the exam is going to build on this lingo and say, what should you do if you encounter a problem? Solve it. Move the situation forward. What do you do if someone is aggressive and belligerent? Be the bigger person. What do you do if someone is unkind and unfair? You be fair. What do you do if someone asks you for help? Help them. What do you do if there's a bottleneck? Understand the bottleneck. Change request. What do you do if someone wants to change a sprint midway? Should you give them free rein, or should you say, hold up, what are you looking for? Of course, the latter. Hold up, what are you looking for? We're airborne. You can't open the plane of this thing. You can't open the door of this plane. Tell us what you want and let the product owner decide if that is feasible and if that is even sensible. So all of this is to tell you, just do it, especially if you've prepared solidly in Agile. If you have not, I would like to encourage you to look into my half-day bootcamp. In the half-day bootcamp, we don't go over all of this stuff. No. You want to know what we go over? Just Google PMP exam content outline, okay? I'll show you what we cover, and it's for a reason. If you look at how the PMI have set up the PMP exam, they've set up the exam to cover this very unique syllabus. A lot of people don't know this is the blueprint on which the exam is based. If you're able to tackle the tasks in each domain, the likelihood of you acing the test is hugely amplified. And that's why in the training program, if you go onto the website, hpmexam.com, if you go there, you'll find that the syllabus maps back to what I showed you. It's a syllabus that is based on the PMP exam content outline. We cover people, process, and business. We've got one starting on Sunday. It's just 4 hours, but I'm telling you, it's like a 20-hour course packed into 4 hours. You're also going to get a course in a book. And the course in a book is called PMP Exam Immersion. I highly advise you, my friends, to go on down to hpmexam.com and find out when the next training program is, because for many of you, the difference between success and stalling is this 4-hour interaction, okay? But if nothing else, don't forget to download that cheat sheet. You take care, my friends. Talk to you soon.